Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our mission here is always the same. We take this massive stack of source materials. You've got recaps, trailers, network notes, all of it, and we basically turn it into a shortcut.
Right. A way to understand some of the most, let's face it, complicated industries out there.
And today, we are definitely strapping in. We're doing a deep dive into the business of reality dating television. Specifically, how networks like TLC and Peacock are, well, engineering and monetizing pure chaos.
It's the ultimate high wire act, isn't it? You've got this engineered structure on one side and then just inevitable human implosion on the other.
Exactly.
And our stack today is, I mean, it's fantastic for this. It really lets us look behind the curtain. We have everything from like the minute-by-minute drama of a 90-day fiancé tell-all teaser, all the way up to the high-level corporate strategy behind the Love Island spinoff universe.
Yeah, and that's our mission today. We want to track what the networks are actually prioritizing. I mean, are they still genuinely trying to find lasting love for these people?
Or is the real product just maximizing the conflict, just milking the chaos to extend the shelf life of these reality stars?
We're looking at two absolute juggernauts that come at the same subject relationships from, completely different angles. And it tells us so much about where the whole genre is headed.
And I think we should frame this whole conversation around that core tension in reality TV. You put people in this structured, controlled, highly edited place, a villa, the pods, whatever.
The bubble.
The bubble, exactly, to create this baseline for a relationship. But the second they're released into the wild, into the post-show world of fame and Instagram deals, that baseline just shatters.
And that's where the real money is.
That's the commercial product. It's the fallout. And we need to really understand how production is evolving to monetize that aftermath.
Okay, let's unpack this. Speaking of monetizing post-show trauma, we get to start with the OG, the classic.
Yeah.
The TLC empire and the 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after, tell-all.
Oh, yeah.
The trailer for this thing is, it's a monstrous 4-part showdown. It's set to start premiering Sunday, November 9, 2025, and it just promises pure pandemonium.
Well, and what really stands out when you analyze the format is how TLC is deliberately cranking up the intensity. It's in the production choices.
How so?
They didn't just bring the cast together for, a quick sit-down interview with the host. They housed the entire volatile group together.
The entire cast.
The entire cast in the same location for days while filming this 4-part event.
Wow. That is the ultimate pressure cooker strategy. I mean, you're bottling up months, maybe years of resentment and on-screen fights. You add the fatigue of filming for days on end, and then you point the cameras at them.
You're guaranteeing maximum emotional volatility. It's not a possibility, it's a guarantee.
And the sources confirm it absolutely worked.
Yeah.
The teasers are just full of cheating accusations, tears, complete betrayals, and, these weird alliances forming and shifting in the middle of a conversation.
So let's walk through the specific drama that production chose to highlight in that trailer, because that tells you everything you need to know about what they think drives ratings.
Okay, where do we start?
We have to begin with the external friction. The classic reality feud that runs parallel to all the marriage problems. Elizabeth Potthast, or Libby, versus Lauren Bravarnik.
Yes. Libby sets the tone right out of the gate. She delivers that perfect, made-for-TV soundbite. If this is a tell-all, we're going to tell all.
And that's not just like passive gossip. That is a declaration of war. It's about a friendship that is clearly dramatically imploded off camera.
But which TLC has correctly identified as, fertile ground for new conflict. They're bringing an off-screen fight on screen.
Absolutely. Then next on the menu, we have the cheating allegations. Classic stuff. Darcy Silva is shown confronting Jordi Rousseff.
And her accusation is pretty familiar for them, right? Flirting in public.
Exactly, but it's Georgie's defense that is just.
Yeah.
It's pure 2025 reality PV influencer brain. He claims he was networking. Networking.
That is just a perfect encapsulation of how fame completely warps your perspective on reality. He's trying to spin this behavior that clearly upsets his fiancée into, a professional development opportunity.
Right. It's such a transparent attempt to control the narrative, and Darcy just immediately calls it disgusting.
As she should.
Yeah.
It shows that even when they're in the middle of a huge fight, these stars are constantly trying to protect their brand. It's incredible.
Moving on, we get a little touch of the enduring external friction for Brandon Gibbs and Julia Trubkina.
The parents.
The parents. The sources confirm their main tension is still Brandon's parents. The production decision here is basically to show that some conflicts are just so foundational to a couple's story that they become evergreen content.
The parents are essentially unpaid supporting cast members at this point. They're guaranteed to generate a storyline every single season.
Every time. And then we get to the real, genuine, and kind of heartbreaking emotional distress. This is Yara Zaya, who is usually so polished, so composed.
So in control.
Yes. And she's shown having a complete emotional breakdown over her relationship with Jovi Dufresne.
That clip was hard to watch.
The vulnerability is just, it's profound. She's breaking down, crying, and she's expressing this really deep, consuming fear. She says, I cried and cried when we fight and fight. It's so hard for me to like. I can lose him in my life.
And that's not just typical reality TV drama about a dumb fight. That feels deeper. It's this fear that the whole combination of the K-1 visa process, the fame, Jovi's lifestyle,
The partying. Yeah.
that it could all lead to this catastrophic life upheaval for her and their daughter. And production makes sure that clip is front and center because it just cuts through all the fake stuff for a second.
It taps into a real, relatable fear of loss.
But of course, production always has a main event planned. And the biggest drama that they're teasing, which is so heavily edited for maximum impact, involves that notorious love triangle, Jasmine Pineda, Gino, and Matt.
Oh, the layering here is just meticulous. It's expertly crafted. The scene kicks off with Jasmine confronting Matt directly. No beating around the bush. She asks the hard question.
Is there anything you want to say? And you were having sex with her, yes or no?
Bam! It's a shock value accusation. It's designed to just grab your attention immediately.
And then the immediate follow-up is the emotional counterbalance. We see Jasmine delivering this incredibly dramatic declaration of love to her fiancé, Gino.
Right. I don't think that I will ever love someone like I love you. I have never wanted to be with Matt.
It's this perfect, sweeping piece of dialogue that honestly sounds a little scripted. It's designed to pull the audience back in, to make them root for her and Gino again.
But here's the production genius, the devastating kicker. While she's saying all this,
Matt is right there. He can hear it.
he overhears the entire intimate and frankly humiliating exchange. He hears the accusation, and then he hears the declaration that Jasmine loves Gino and never even wanted him.
Oh, that's brutal.
By forcing Matt to listen to his own rejection right after being publicly accused, the producers just maximize the humiliation, and they guarantee the most awkward, painful silence for that final edit.
It's not just conflict anymore. That's emotional engineering.
It absolutely is.
So let's circle back to the Libby and Lauren feud for a second, because the post-tell-all scoop gives us so much more context. This wasn't just, reality star squabbling over nothing.
No, this was a fundamental breach of trust that production knew exactly how to amplify.
So what was the root of it?
The sources say the initial problem was a dinner party. The details are kind of vague, but the real fallout, the thing that made it permanent, was when Lauren shared confidential text messages she had received from Libby about Libby's own husband, Alexei.
Wait, so Libby was confiding in Lauren about her husband, and Lauren shared those texts?
Well, it's even worse. Apparently, Libby later used the fact that she had shared those texts against Lauren during another argument about the party. It was the ultimate weaponized confidence.
Wow. That is a next-level betrayal.
But then you see the classic reality TV strategy kick in. Involve the rest of the cast.
Right.
Yara and Jovi Dufresne, who have their own mess going on, get involved. They go and tell Lauren that Libby has been bad-mouthing her.
And that's how the network keeps the side players relevant. You make them the messengers, they deliver the crucial piece of information that keeps the conflict going.
It's a game of telephone that results in higher ratings.
The part of this that really gives you insight into the human cost of all this, though, is Libby's emotional apology and her confession. That moment really transforms it from a petty fight into something much deeper and kind of tragic.
She explains that losing Lauren as a friend hurt so much because her own family life is completely fractured.
Because of the drama with her brother, Charlie.
Exactly, which has created a rift with her sisters, and it basically leaves her father, Chark, as her only consistent family anchor. So she's isolated, and she confessed that isolation to Lauren.
And she delivered a quote that is just, it's stunning in how raw and desperate it is. She said, I don't have a lot of people around me, and we don't keep people in our fucking circle.
Yeah.
You're the only one who was close to me. You're the only one that fucking knew. It fucking hurts me.
That is just, it's the gold standard for reality TV vulnerability.
It really is. It shows the devastating personal cost of having to maintain this TV presence while your actual family is at war. The source material suggests that Raw Confession really resonated because it showed this deep-seated fear of isolation that reality fame just makes a million times worse.
It moves the conversation beyond just who said what and into the actual structural damage these shows can inflict on people's personal lives and their support networks.
Exactly. But here is the great reality TV contradiction. Despite how overwhelmingly sincere Libby's pain seems in that moment, the final note in the source material is one of skepticism.
Right. There's a strong suggestion that this entire high-stakes, deeply emotional feud, the dinner, the texts, the betrayal, the tearful confession, may have been carefully scripted drama for a storyline.
But see, that's where the informed viewer gets stuck. If it was scripted, does that lessen the impact of her breakdown, especially when we know the underlying family isolation is obviously real?
That's the question.
We see the pain, we understand her motive for confessing, but we also know the strings are always being pulled. And you're left in this weird position of almost hoping that such devastating personal pain was manufactured, just so Libby didn't genuinely lose her last close friend over a TV show.
And that tension right there, the hope that raw emotion is fake for the star's own protection, that is the bizarre new standard for the genre. The second you recognize the production strategy behind the raw moment, the authenticity, no matter how moving it is, it's instantly compromised.
So we've seen the calculated human cost of TLC's legacy of drama. Now let's pivot to a competitor, Peacock, and look at how they're trying to build an entire corporate empire by focusing on that exact same chaos, just on a much, much larger scale.
Right. We're talking about the massive investment that is being poured into the Love Island universe.
This is clearly a huge strategic priority for Peacock. We know from the source material that the CEO of ITV America, a guy named David George, he confirmed they are already deep in talks about launching a third Love Island spinoff.
The third one.
A third one. That signals that the success they're having isn't just a flash in the pan. This brand is foundational to Peacock's entire streaming identity now.
And this expansion is completely validated by the numbers. Love Island USA Season 6 didn't just do well, it became Peacock's biggest U.S. hit. It's their most watched original reality competition series ever.
The audience is clearly there. They are migrating to this brand.
And George, the CEO, he laid out the strategy pretty explicitly. He said Peacock, after separating from other networks, except for Bravo, of course, wants to be the destination for fun, binge-worthy content.
And he promised, quote, real juicy content in 2025.
That phrase, real juicy content, I mean, that tells you everything. It clearly indicates they're prioritizing guaranteed conflict and high drama over the, aspirational goal of actually finding love.
They want assets that convert viewership into binge sessions. That's the game.
And the ecosystem is already getting so complex. You've got the main show, you've got Love Island All-Stars, which brings back old contestants.
For another shot at love. Or fame.
For fame, right. And Love Island Games, which is more of a competition format. But the key piece of their future strategy seems to be the spinoff that tracks life after the villa.
Love Island. Beyond the Villa or LIBTV.
Exactly.
So Season 1 of LIBTV followed Islanders from Season 6.
Yeah.
You had people like Janet Craig, Aaron Evans, Miguel Harichi, Leah Khatib, Kenny Rodriguez. And the promise was really captivating. It was supposed to be this docufollow series.
Right.
Showing how these newly minted reality stars navigate life once the safety net of the villa is gone. New careers, friendships, fame, and trying to keep a relationship together in the real world.
And commercially, you have to say, Season 1 was a home run. It was the #1 highest-reaching unscripted original debut season ever on Peacock. The business metrics were met, and then some.
But, and this is a huge but, commercial success did not equal critical success or fan satisfaction.
Not at all.
Which brings us to the fan backlash against LIBTV Season 1. Despite the huge ratings, the general feeling online was that the show was a flop and just painful to watch.
This is that moment where the network's strategy just completely clashes with what the audience actually wants. The highly informed viewer, the superfan, they wanted candid, genuine, docu-follow content.
The messy stuff.
The messy, real stuff. And they felt like what they got was highly manufactured, produced bullshit.
Yeah.
The comparison they kept making wasn't to a serious documentary, but to old school reality like The Hills.
Oh, totally. Where the drama just feels cheesy and scripted, like the two female leads having this big fight over something as trivial as glam and a camera.
Like it felt so forced.
I think that critique is spot on. I mean, fans are savvy enough now, they can spot a scene that was planned out 2 days in advance. They wanted to see the unglamorous, real adjustments.
They wanted to see the struggles, like Miguel and Leah not actually living together, even though they're a couple, or Jaina and Kenny trying to navigate a long-distance relationship between two different states.
Yeah.
That is the real post-Villa conflict.
And this wasn't just fans speculating. The cast basically confirmed the production manipulation. Jaina, for instance, she noted publicly that the show was pitched to them as a candid docufollow.
Right.
But that production completely shifted direction during filming, which led to cast complaints and a general unhappiness with the final, highly dramatized product.
And this really highlights the core dilemma of the modern reality star. They are influencers first and reality stars second. They're hyper-aware of cancel culture, which means they are incredibly guarded. The source material notes they are buttoning up to the neck, just totally unwilling to display the genuine flaws that actually create high-stakes drama.
When your talent is more worried about protecting their personal brand so they can land that next Instagram sponsorship than they are about providing genuine conflict. The quality of the reality just plummets. The drama becomes light, boring, and, fundamentally safe.
And you can see the cost of this brand protection so clearly in the story of Aaron Evans on that show.
Oh, it was painful to watch. His discomfort was just visible on screen.
He was open about only being there for the money, and fans noted that the intense backlash he got after his original season, season 6, it just seemed to have broke him.
They said his light was gone.
Which is a really harsh assessment, but it speaks to the emotional burnout that's just inherent in this job now. He was a commercial asset, he got rewarded with a spinoff, but the exposure just destroyed his willingness to be authentic on camera.
He became this visible cautionary tale. And the paycheck, which is reportedly pretty small for the main show contestants, it clearly doesn't cover the mental health costs of being under that microscope all the time.
Not even close. And then you had the forced irrelevant drama, which was another huge fan complaint.
The Connor and Kendall segments were they felt so pointless. These forced redemption arcs felt completely hollow.
And the beef between Connor and Jaina was universally panned as just manufactured drama. They were trying to sustain a storyline from the original season that the cast in real life had clearly already moved past.
The most instructive storyline, I think, for our analysis is the painful postmortem of Jaina and Kenny's relationship.
Oh, yeah.
They were a huge fan favorite, and their relationship just imploded spectacularly on the show. And this is where production did show us the real reality, but only by exposing one partner's hypocrisy.
Jaina revealed the devastating truth that Kenny wanted them to live separately right before filming started.
Which left her feeling confused, humiliated, and embarrassed, all while they were supposed to be filming as this happy, successful couple.
And that created a genuine, heart-wrenching conflict that production could absolutely mine for content.
And the pet drama became the perfect metaphor for Kenny's two-faced reality.
Tell us about that.
So Jaina was all in. She was eager to foster more dogs together. But in his private confessionals, Kenny was telling a completely different story.
He admitted he was far removed from the idea of getting more animals and was, quote, struggling with the one I have, their dog one.
Production strategically highlighted that contrast. You see Kenny performing the role of the perfect, supportive partner to Jaina's face, while simultaneously undermining their shared vision in his private interviews.
And that is the ultimate reality television betrayal. It exposes the perfect partner persona as pure performance. The confessional becomes the one place where the audience gets to see the unvarnished, self-centered truth.
And that's what fans wanted. They wanted the genuine friction caused by two people having completely mismatched realities.
And you can contrast that with what the audience was explicitly asking for more of.
The cozy stuff.
The cozy love content. The sources confirm fans desperately wanted more of the non-drama segments, like Miguel riding Leah's horse on her farm.
Or just wanting to see more of Serena and Cordell adjusting to living together. The cute scenes with Serena and Cordell's cat, Milo.
This is a massive insight. Fans are actively requesting a shift toward what you could call comfort reality, a genuine, low-stakes look at life after the big event.
Instead of the high-stakes, forced conflict.
But the networks are just structurally conditioned to believe that only chaos translates into the high-impact content they need for a successful franchise.
Which leads us directly to Season 2 of the show. Peacock recognized that Season 1 got high ratings, but had poor critical engagement because there wasn't enough juicy drama.
So they're strategically course-correcting, and they're doing it by banking on a pre-existing, guaranteed implosion.
The renewal is confirmed. It's set to premiere in early 2026. Filming starts the week of November 7, 2025. But the big change is they're bringing in Islanders from Season 7.
And Season 7, based on all the fan feedback, was the messy season. It was described as having so much awful, unnecessary drama of the worst kind and almost zero fun.
So production is betting that the messy, dramatic energy of that cast will translate directly to the spin-off and provide all the conflict that Season 1 was missing.
And the key strategic hook for Season 2 is the built-in post-win breakup. The winners of Season 7, Amaya Espinal and Brian Arenales, have already confirmed they ended their relationship earlier this year.
That is a producer's dream.
It's perfect. They don't have to manufacture any conflict. They start with the trauma. Amaya put out an Instagram statement saying they were on 2 different journeys and their visions didn't align. Brian shared a similar but much shorter message.
So this pre-existing, very high-profile split guarantees immediate, high-stakes drama. The entire season of Beyond the Villa Season 2 is going to be an autopsy of a televised relationship.
The breakdown of the winners. This is the guaranteed conflict that replaces the forced, glam fight storylines from Season 1.
We have the confirmed cast list, and it includes a lot of Season 7 veterans. Brian, Amaya, Grayson Blackmore, Jeremiah Brown, a whole bunch of them.
But the list of who's missing is just as telling.
Yes. Nick Van Steenberg, Alondria Carthen, Ace Green, Chelly Basanthe, Austin Shepard, Huda Mustafa, all absent.
And the fan backlash to that was immediate. The comments were full of people asking why the Belt cast members were left out in favor of people who basically gave us nothing all season.
Which indicates a production decision based on logistics, right? It's about who's available, who's willing to commit to filming, and
critically, who is willing to be messy. They're prioritizing conflict potential over character likability or even fan demand.
And finally, we see Peacock leveraging the broader reality ecosystem with a massive cross-promotion.
The BravoCon appearance.
A BravoCon appearance. Amaya, Jeremiah, and Iris are confirmed to appear on the Bravoverse live stage panel in Vegas on Sunday, November 16th.
And this is so crucial for understanding the business model. By integrating Love Island stars into the Bravo universe, Peacock is transforming them from seasonal dating show contestants into durable, long-tail reality assets.
It keeps them relevant all year round, it maintains their celebrity status, and that drives engagement and future viewership, regardless of whether they're even in a relationship anymore.
It's a very smart business move. It solidifies the idea that these stars are commodities that can be used across multiple platforms long after their original show has ended.
If we zoom out for a second, this whole idea of maximizing post-show trauma is just standard practice across the entire reality genre now. These feuds don't just fade away.
No, they become persistent content machines for years. They fuel engagement on social media, and they justify future spin-offs.
We see this perfectly in the ongoing drama from Love is Blind, years after the weddings. Take Steven and Monica. They are still actively feuding 18 months after filming wrapped.
And Monica is engaged to someone else.
To someone totally new. Monica reignited the whole thing by posting a video recounting how she found her former fiancé's inappropriate texts. She was clearly implying Steven was the reason for the breakup.
And the production strategy relies on these constant look-back accusations that just refresh the drama for a new audience.
And Steven clapped back hard on Instagram. He accused her of using a recycled storyline just to stay relevant. He said he was tired of the passive disrespect and that he was focused on building a real life, not a storyline.
That phrase right there, building a real life, not a storyline, that is the battle cry of the reality star who's trying to escape the box they were put in.
But the network and the audience are constantly pulling them back in because the unresolved drama is always more clickable than their new stable life.
Always. And the Natalie and Shane feud is just as durable. Natalie mentioned Shane's financial honesty on some podcasts.
And that was enough to set him off. Shane jumped onto TikTok and captioned a video with this super aggressive statement. She said yes at the altar. Shut your mouth up about me.
He also demanded receipts if she was going to keep ruining his character.
And again, the source material shows us the friction points are always the same. Money and commitment. These long-tail feuds just keep going because they tap into the unfixable reasons the relationships failed in the first place.
And because the breakup was so public, neither one of them can truly move on privately.
And we can't forget the more subtle shade, like with Madison and Mason. Mason has moved on with a new woman named Megs. But Madison used a viral Instagram trend to imply, with some coded language, that she is still known as Megs to Mason.
And those little digital breadcrumbs of conflict are enough. They generate clicks, they keep the relationship in the conversation, and therefore the content stays alive for years.
This whole environment of perpetual conflict is why networks are constantly having to reevaluate their strategies, especially when major scandals break that really invade the public consciousness. They're fundamentally reshaping the 2025 reality landscape.
We saw the massive social media uproar from Taylor Frankie Paul's soft-swinging TikTok claim. That forced networks to grapple with how much control they can or even should have over the very messy private lives of their talent once the cameras are off.
And then you have the Bravo strategy of just milking existing trauma. Vanderpump Rules producers are clearly using the history of the Scandival cheating saga to promote season 12. It proves that known betrayal is their most valuable commodity.
Plus, you have the highly personal public reveal by Shiana Shea that her husband cheated while she was pregnant. That raises really serious internal network questions about the privacy rights of the talent versus the need for public spectacle to drive ratings.
It's a fine line. And the resurfacing of Brooks Nader's allegations against Gleb Sevchenko shows how old drama can be instantly weaponized or brought back to the forefront with just a single new social media post. The stars are just permanently trapped by their own televised histories.
All of this volatility creates a really unstable foundation for these dating shows, which is why we have to look at a detailed analysis of a recent Love is Blind season.
Because we can spot the red flags that producers strategically highlight. They're basically showing us the editing blueprint for a guaranteed disaster.
Exactly. Let's break down the couples and analyze the editor's intention, starting with Annie and Nick.
Okay. Annie's whole narrative arc was defined by this aggressive need for validation. She kept framing her love in competitive terms, saying things like, "I love you more than you love me."
And the editing really highlights this as self-sabotaging behavior, which, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous given how little time they've actually known each other.
Their fights just became these circular arguments where she was demanding these huge emotional pronouncements that Nick just wasn't ready to give. And the cameras focused on that emotional imbalance as the clear reason for their downfall.
And critically, Nick was edited to be deeply unpopular. They specifically showed that the entire cast, both the men and the women at that mixer event, they all disliked him.
And if the community around the couple can't stand one half of the pair, production knows that relationship is fundamentally unstable.
So the prediction, which is supported by all the preview clips, is that they don't even make it to the altar.
Next up, Joe and Madison.
Oh, Joe. He was presented in full self-sabotage mode, and the editing repeatedly, and I mean repeatedly, emphasized his behavior with alcohol.
He was visibly obliterated, drunk in Mexico, and then they showed him as scatterbrained and drunk again at the mixer.
And he used these really illogical arguments to just slowly and deliberately push Madison away. His body language, his actions, they all signaled this deep discomfort with commitment, even while his words were promising it.
The producers focus on that contradiction between his words and his actions. They plant those seeds so the audience can predict his eventual exit.
The prediction is solid. Joe breaks it off before the wedding day because he just cannot reconcile his reality with the televised commitment.
Then we get to Meghan and Jordan. They were initially framed as the most normal couple.
Right.
Their designated red flag, which was highlighted through very repetitive editing, was Meghan's deep trepidation about becoming a stepmom to Jordan's young son, Luca.
And this seemed to be the one insurmountable obstacle that the producers chose to amplify over and over again.
We absolutely cannot overlook the bizarre detail the producers chose to include.
The chicken.
The chicken. Jordan's decision to blend frozen chicken and Crystal Light in a NutriBullet for protein.
I still can't get over that.
Wait, we had to pause on that. A supposedly professional fitness coach is blending raw frozen chicken with flavored sugar water. That's not a red flag for a relationship. That's a biohazard alert for the entire viewing audience.
It's such an important moment because it's a moment of unintentional comedic genius. And it immediately disrupts that normalcy they were trying to build for the relationship.
The editing team knows that detail is unforgettable. It fundamentally makes you question the judgment of this person who's preparing to be a husband and a parent. It transforms a normal guy into a walking character flaw.
It really does. Okay, moving on to Edmund and KB.
The editing here relentlessly focused on Edmund's, like 1,000% emotional immaturity. And they specifically linked it to his past in the foster care system, making him seem perpetually childlike.
And KB, on the other hand, was presented as mature, well-spoken, but she seemed genuinely shocked that Edmund hadn't ended things with her yet.
She recognized the power imbalance. She said she would eat that guy alive in a long-term marriage.
And the prediction is clear from that moment. KB ends it. The relationship just lacks the 50-50 power dynamic and the emotional maturity it needs to survive, and the editors made sure the audience understood that from day one.
And finally, Anton and Allie. They're the nothing couple.
Yeah, they had the least inherent conflict.
Right. Allie was presented as maybe looking for a sugar daddy, and Anton admitted to liking strip clubs. Allie presented herself very differently in the pods, which implied a financial mismatch was the real issue.
And the apartment stage is where the cracks really showed. Allie likely recognized that Anton wasn't the kind of provider she wanted, and Anton wasn't about to give up his existing lifestyle for her.
The editing just highlights the transactional nature of their connection, which signals instability. It's unclear who ends it, but the structural flaws, the financial expectations, and lifestyle incompatibility were amplified to guarantee they would eventually fail.
What's so fascinating in all these examples is the meticulous attention production pays to showcasing one specific, irreconcilable flaw.
Whether it's substance abuse, emotional immaturity, or a bizarre diet choice.
Right. These flaws become the narrative hooks that guarantee the eventual breakups will land with maximum dramatic impact and justify the whole high-impact content strategy.
So after analyzing these deep strategic pivots at both TLC and Peacock, what does this entire ecosystem tell us about the current state of reality TV?
It tells us the audience isn't passive anymore. The highly informed viewer is hyper-aware of the production strings. That's why you see the backlash against Beyond the Villa Season 1 for feeling too manufactured and cheesy.
And the request for cozy love is a signal that audiences want authentic, low-stakes content. But that desire conflicts directly with the corporate requirement for high-impact content, for long-running feuds, for guaranteed conflict to justify entire spin-off ecosystems.
And the producers, they recognized the commercial success of LABTV Season 1, but they also recognized its critical flaw. It lacked guaranteed conflict.
So they're course-correcting for Season 2. They're importing the most volatile cast they can find and banking on a high-profile, pre-existing breakup, the winners of Season 7.
Absolutely. The business model has shifted. The future of reality TV seems less about finding love in a controlled environment and much, much more about mining the inevitable post-show trauma.
The realities of fame, the highly dramatic, durable breakups. That's the product now. They sustain the franchise across multiple platforms. They maximize the asset's lifespan through things like the BravoCon cross-promotion.
The aftermath is the main show. It's about turning a short dating competition into a multi-year, multi-platform commodity.
And that leads us to our final provocative thought for you to consider as you wrap up this deep dive.
We know the winners of Love Island USA Season 7, Amaya Espinal and Brian Renales, have already broken up. So the question is, does knowing the end of their relationship make you more or less interested in watching the in-between drama of Beyond the Villa Season 2?
Does knowing the destination change your enjoyment of the messy journey? Food for thought. Thank you for joining us for the deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.